There's something almost supernatural about you. Chosen one. When you walk into a room, people can't guess your age. They assume you're in your early 32nds. But the truth shocks them. You're past 40, maybe even nearing 50. Your skin glows as if it carries the light of heaven. Your eyes burn with undimmed fire, and your very presence feels magnetic, defying the rules of time itself. This isn't about vanity, and it's not because of creams, surgeries, or trends the world is chasing. It's deeper, it's spiritual. You radiate youthfulness because your mind, body, and spirit are aligned with a higher calling. You don't just look younger, you are younger in the depths of your being, carrying a fountain of life that the world can't manufacture. Before we dive into the 9 shocking reasons you look younger after 40, type 777 inches. The comments right now. That number is your seal of divine perfection. Your public declaration that blessings, protection, and renewal are active over your life. And to those who have supported, super thanks. I thank you from the depths of my heart. Your faith and generosity make it possible for this truth to reach others who need it. Get ready, because what you're about to hear will not only stun you, it will open your eyes to the mysterious, unstoppable power working within you as one of God's chosen ones. God's chosen ones. 9 shocking reasons they look younger after 40. This Will Street, Unknew. Stress is not merely an inconvenience, it is a silent executioner, the great thief of time, carving lines into the face and draining vitality from the soul. Physicians call it the catalyst of premature aging. Yet Scripture already warned us long ago, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Proverbs 14:30. The chosen ones know this truth not in theory, but through fire-tested experience. They understand that stress corrodes from within like acid eating through marble, weakening both body and spirit until the glow of youth vanishes. How many people around you are carrying invisible weights? Grudges so heavy they bend their posture. Regrets replaying in their minds like an eternal requiem, and fears of tomorrow that rob today of all its beauty. And if stress has the power to bend posture and dim the eyes, then what hidden strength must lie in those who have chosen release? Their very existence becomes a paradox, aging in years, but reversing in presence. Stress does not just shorten lifespans, it shrinks moments of joy, compresses love into fragments, and steals the music out of daily living. The chosen resist this silent erosion, and in doing so, they stand as living contradictions to a world enslaved by pressure. The chosen carry themselves differently. They have fought wars in silence, endured betrayals that could have hardened them into stone. Yet instead of yielding to bitterness, they surrendered their burdens. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. This surrender is not weakness, it is spiritual architecture. A cathedral rising inside the soul, where every act of forgiveness is a cornerstone and every release of worry is a vaulted ceiling open to heaven. Can you see how this inner cathedral radiates outward, softening their features, brightening their gaze, and making them appear decades younger than their age? And deep within yourself, have you ever wondered what your face might look like if every hidden sorrow you carry were suddenly lifted away? It is as though their very skin reflects stained glass light filtering through brokenness to reveal colors, no darkness can erase. That is why the chosen shine, even in rooms where despair lingers. The weight they surrender becomes wings, and what once bent them down becomes what lifts them up. Their peace becomes an invisible fragrance, filling spaces long after they leave, like incense rising from an unseen altar. History gives us striking parallels. The painter, Michelangelo, though crushed by commissions and political intrigue, once said that inside the stone already lived the sculpture. His job was only to free it. In the same way, the chosen free themselves from the stone of stress, chiseling away resentment until the masterpiece of their true spirit shines. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4-6. Stress compresses, but prayer expands. Bitterness shrinks the soul, but thanksgiving lifts it toward the heavens. Have you noticed how their presence feels magnetic? As if their very frequency resonates at a higher pitch, like strings of a violin tuned to perfection rather than discord. Their energy, like resonant waves in physics, spreads through any environment, aligning others with their peace. Even those who cannot explain it scientifically cannot deny its reality. The chosen seem to hum with eternity's vibration, like a sculpture finally revealed from marble. Their lives carry a beauty not crafted by hands but revealed through surrender. Their victories are often invisible, but their faces bear witness to triumph over unseen battles. Music itself testifies to this mystery. In Mozart's Requiem, sorrow swells into thunder, but then releases into moments of ethereal calm, echoing the very rhythm of the chosen life storms breaking into serenity. And as the hymn declares, "It is well with my soul." Those who walk in faith release their fears into God's hands, emerging radiant. Is it any wonder their immune systems strengthen, their sleep deepens, and their faces carry the brightness of dawn? Their bodies mirror symphonic design, every cell playing in harmony instead of chaos. What medicine cannot always provide, peace often does, because peace tunes the soul into divine alignment. And alignment is the secret architecture of youth. Their inner harmony becomes visible, symmetry shaping their presence as music shapes air. Each heartbeat, like a drum in a sacred song, keeps their spirit aligned with heaven's tempo. Those around them may not hear the melody, but they feel its resonance in every encounter. Nature whispers the same lesson. The willow tree, bent low by storms, survives because it yields. The eagle soars higher, not by flapping harder, but by resting on unseen currents. The chosen resemble both, resilient through yielding, radiant through trust. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40-30-31. Stressdrain, but surrender, renews. Have you ever felt how exhaustion disappears the moment your soul finds rest? Even if your body is weary, that is the secret of the chosen. They live in resonance with heaven's current, not earth's chaos. Like rivers flowing through valleys, they bend but never break, carrying a glow in their spirit that no storm can drown. Their surrender is not collapse, it is alignment, like a sail opening to the wind that was always there. And in this yielding, they discover that true strength is not in resistance, but in flow. And yet, history also gives us cautionary villains. Emperor Nero, intoxicated by power, was consumed by paranoia, anger, and fear. His face aged beyond his years, his spirit twisted, and his empire burned with him. In sharp contrast, those who forgive, surrender, and trust wear serenity as their crown. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5-9. Who can deny that peace etches radiance where fear writes wrinkles? But beneath all of this, ask yourself with honesty if peace is the true fountain of youth. Why do so many still choose chains of anger over the freedom of forgiveness? Those who cling to bitterness build prisons for themselves, while the chosen build gardens where others may rest. This is why villains crumble, but the faithful rise renewed. Nero's fire turned his empire to ash, but the fire of peace in the chosen turns even their ashes into beauty. And centuries later, his name is a warning, while the names of the faithful remain songs of hope. Ordinary voices confirm this truth. Maria, a seamstress in a forgotten village, once confessed that she felt 10 years younger the day she forgave the neighbor who betrayed her. She said, "My wrinkles didn't vanish overnight, but the heaviness on my shoulders did, and suddenly, people told me I glowed." Her words mirror the chosen path. Stress breaks down collagen, but forgiveness builds up eternity within. How many unsung heroes like Maria walk past us daily, carrying untold radiance because they chose to forgive? Their stories are not in books or carved in stone, yet their faces become living testimonies of divine renewal. And in those hidden testimonies, God's fingerprints are unmistakable. Their glow cannot be marketed, but it can be felt, a fragrance of heaven carried in the smallest acts of mercy. Such voices remind us that the secret of youth lies not in luxury, but in love. Psychologists describe this as lowering cortisol. Architects call it releasing structural pressure. Physicists name it resonance, returning to equilibrium, but Scripture names it simply as trust. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 14:27. When heaven grants this peace, the chosen walk is not only younger in spirit, but visibly younger in form. Their very biology bends to divine law, just as cosmic bodies bend to gravity. What science cannot measure, eternity reveals. Peace is the architecture of immortality rehearsed on earth, and those who walk in it become walking sanctuaries of youth. Their lives prove that peace is not abstract, it is cellular, structural, radiant. It seeps into their bones, shapes their movements, and writes poetry on their faces. In every field of knowledge, the conclusion echoes the same. The one who trusts God glows with life. Stress may etch lines into the face, but the chosen refuse to let it sculpt their destiny. Instead, they rise, radiant as living testimonies that God still renews. Stand up, chosen one. Cast your burdens into his hands. Release the poison of fear, and step forward with the glow of eternity burning on your skin. For youth is not merely measured in years, but in the lightness of spirit. And those who walk with God carry springtime even in winter. Let your life sing the anthem of renewal, that storms may rage, but peace will prevail, and that the heart anchored in God cannot grow old. And may the radiance you carry testify that time itself bows to the Prince of Peace. Purpose is not a luxury. It is the fountain of youth for the soul. While countless people drift through life like leaves scattered by the wind, with no destination and no anchor, the chosen rise each day, with a compass engraved by heaven itself. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Their lives are not accidents of circumstance, but deliberate journeys, carved by divine intention. And what happens to a person who wakes each morning with destiny written into their bones? They carry a vitality that refuses to fade. Even when the years pass, their eyes ignite with clarity, their walk steadies with conviction, and their entire presence declares silently, I was made for more. Even their laughter carries a tone of resilience, as though heaven itself whispers through their joy. The aura around them is not fabricated, it is born from a life aligned with eternal design. This higher calling manifests in many ways, serving others with compassion, creating beauty where despair once reigned, speaking truth into corrupted spaces, or building works that outlast their own breath. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord. Colossians 3:23. When their choices are aligned with eternal architecture, each act becomes a brick in a temple not built by human hands. Does this not explain why their minds stay sharp like chisels? Why their spirits burn like lamps that never flicker, and beyond the surface? Is it not breathtaking to see how purpose makes them appear lighter, as though time itself bows to their commitment, while others collapse under meaningless pursuits? The chosen carry the strength of knowing they are builders in God's design. Their joy is not shallow, it is rooted like an ancient tree that no storm can uproot. Their determination is steady as a mountain ridge, unshaken by the winds of doubt. Their very discipline becomes a fragrance of eternity that lingers long after they leave the room. Science may now agree, but Scripture spoke first. Purpose reshapes even the body. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 17:22. Isn't it astonishing that what the Bible proclaimed millennia ago now resonates through lived experience today and beyond the unseen biology? Purpose transforms posture, brightens the skin, and sharpens the voice with conviction. Their laughter does not merely sound pleasant, it carries weight, like the echo of eternity, reminding those around them that life has meaning. When chosen ones walk into a room, their energy alters the atmosphere, not because of age or status, but because of the fire of purpose burning within. The glow they carry cannot be painted with cosmetics or manufactured by wealth. It is born in the furnace of calling. Their steps resound like victory. Their words drip with certainty, and their faces beam as though dawn itself has taken residence within them. Nature itself affirms this mystery. The salmon, swimming upstream with fierce intention, survives currents that would destroy weaker fish. The sunflower, stretching tirelessly toward the sun, rotates with precision day after day, never losing its focus. The chosen are like both, resilient through struggle, radiant through alignment. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. Hebrews 12:1-2. Have you not felt how even your own body seems to come alive when you finally know what you were born to do? That awakening is why chosen ones appear to carry springtime in their very skin. They do not chase youth. It overflows from them as naturally as rivers finding their course to the sea. Their hearts beat in rhythm with eternity, and the rhythm is visible in their very countenance. Like orchards that bloom season after season, they remain fruitful even when the years advance. Purpose makes them unshakable, like cliffs rising above endless waves. But history also warns us of villains who squandered their purpose. King Belshazzar, drunk with arrogance in Babylon's palace, wasted his calling on feasts of gold and empty indulgence. That very night, his kingdom was torn from him. Daniel 5. His story is proof that those who live without direction, chasing vanity instead of vision, age not only in body, but in soul. The chosen, by contrast, walk as witnesses of Psalm 92-14. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Is it not clear that clarity of mission is the elixir that keeps their eyes bright when others dim, where the aimless burn out? The purposeful burn brighter, where the careless fade into shadows. The chosen glow like torches in the night. And history has repeated this pattern countless times. Nations collapse under leaders without vision, while even the elderly saints shine with vigor when they cling to purpose. Which path would you choose? The banquet of emptiness or the harvest of meaning? This is why chosen ones do not just exist, they live deliberately. Their footsteps echo like a symphony written by God Himself. Each note precise, each crescendo charged with meaning. And though their birthdays accumulate, their presence remains timeless. Stand up, chosen one. Do not waste another breath drifting aimlessly. Anchor yourself in divine purpose, for it will crown you with vitality, cloak you with radiance, and make your spirit untouchable by the decay of time. Purpose is not only your calling, it is your eternal youth. Rise into it boldly, for heaven itself has inscribed it on your heart. Let every decision be a declaration, every step a testimony, and every breath an offering to the one who gave it. True youthfulness is not painted on the surface. It erupts from the inside like fire hidden beneath marble. Skin may wrinkle, hair may gray, but those chosen by God radiate something no cosmetic surgeon can touch. They carry energy like a river carrying light, a vibrational frequency tuned to eternity. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? Proverbs 18:14. Their vitality is not the absence of hardship, but the overflow of a soul aligned with heaven. And what could be more stunning than to meet someone whose very presence feels younger than their years? Does it not stir a deep curiosity? Why do some walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without uttering a word? Their very aura feels like dawn breaking through night, carrying renewal for everyone around. In silence, their stillness speaks louder than words, like sacred architecture designed to inspire awe. Their youth is not an illusion, it is evidence of eternity whispering through mortal flesh. And when others fade in exhaustion, they remain like embers that refuse to die, glowing with a strength not their own. They understand intuitively that what the soul consumes will one day sculpt the face. If the heart feeds on bitterness, the countenance twists into hardness. If it feeds on grace, the countenance glows like dawn. Abu Va'alels, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. For this reason, chosen ones reject the slow poison of negativity, gossip, toxic conversations, and dark entertainment. Do not cling to them, because they know words carry frequency like sound waves, shaping matter. Isn't it clear that a heart filled with shadows eventually makes the body bend under invisible weight? Instead, they breathe in light through prayer, creativity, silence, and service. Each act becomes a note in a symphony of renewal, striking chords that resonate far beyond themselves. Their choices shape them like a sculptor chiseling stone, revealing lines of peace instead of scars of bitterness. And when others waste energy on drama, they preserve their glow by walking in restraint. Their vigilance becomes their beauty, and their guarded hearts become fountains that refresh not only themselves, but everyone who drinks of their presence. This energy field is not poetic exaggeration, it is a living architecture. Imagine cathedrals with vaulted ceilings, built to carry sound upward, amplifying even a whisper into resonance that fills the heavens. In the same way, chosen ones cultivate practices that amplify life. Long walks where their breath synchronizes with the rhythm of creation, stillness that restores the nervous system, expressions of art that tune their emotions into harmony. Those who look to him are radiant, their faces are never covered with shame. Psalm 34:5. Is it not astonishing that without trying to impress, their very presence becomes a protective shield, drawing others in like moths to light? The frequency of peace itself is their fragrance, and it cannot be replicated by shallow imitation. Their glow is not a performance, it is a resonance built patiently, brick by brick, like a tower engineered to endure storms. And those who step into their orbit often leave lighter, carrying fragments of their peace. In truth, their entire being becomes a cathedral where heaven's harmony dwells, a sanctuary disguised in human form. When storms batter them, they return to their center. A battle may rage around them, yet within, a calm chamber exists, echoing Christ's words, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives." John 14:27. Their glow is not vanity, it is the physical manifestation of clarity. People who meet them often whisper, "There's something different about you." And have you noticed how your own body feels calmer in the presence of someone deeply rooted in peace, like tuning forks brought close? Your energy adjusts to theirs, proving that what radiates from the chosen reshapes those around them. Their immune system strengthens, their body repairs, and their years bend under the weight of eternal renewal. Even in chaos, they carry equilibrium, becoming sanctuaries in a restless world. And just as still water reflects the sky more clearly than turbulent waves, their hearts mirror heaven with stunning accuracy. Their secret is not that storms never come, it is that they have learned where to anchor their sails when they do. History itself shouts both warning and witness. Jezebel, who cloaked herself in cosmetics and manipulation, tried to radiate false beauty, yet her end was destruction. Her name remembered as corruption. In contrast, the chosen wear inner light that cannot be extinguished. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. Who can deny that authentic glow outlasts the paint of vanity? False energy burns fast like dry straw, but true radiance endures like embers in sacred fire. Which would you rather carry into your old age, the ashes of deceit or the flame of divine presence? Jezebel's palace walls crumbled, but the glow of the faithful continued through generations, proving that inner radiance builds legacies while false masks collapse. Every page of history testifies that masks eventually crack, but light never dies. The chosen need no disguise, for truth itself shines through them, unmasking falsehood without a word. Ordinary voices testify. Samuel, a humble gardener from a forgotten village, once said, "I do not own riches, but when I walk among the roses I planted, my soul feels alive, and people tell me my face looks younger." His words, though simple, reveal the mystery of chosen living. Energy cultivated within eventually blossoms without. The roses mirrored, his heart tended, vibrant, fragrant. And does not such testimony strike us with wonder that beauty flows from inner gardens more than outer decoration? His wrinkles, though etched by time, seemed softened by joy, like sunlight falling on weathered stone. What textbooks describe in theories? His life declared in silence, peace and purpose create radiance that no storm can erase. His garden became a parable. What is nourished within will bloom without. Samuel's legacy shows us that even those unseen by the world can shine like suns in their corner of creation, proving that heaven notices the glow even when history does not. Thus, the chosen prove youth is not a number, but a resonance, not an illusion, but an inner architecture. They shine because their foundations are strong, their frequencies aligned, their spirits anchored in peace. Stand up, chosen one. Refuse the poison of negativity. Build the cathedral within you, where every thought echoes eternity. Radiate from the inside out, for your glow is not just your beauty, it is your weapon, your testimony, and your crown. Rise and shine, for you are marked by heaven, and no darkness can smother the light you carry. Let every heartbeat resound like a bell in a sacred tower, declaring that true youth begins within, and may your very presence become a hymn of eternity, reminding all who see you that light is stronger than age, and heaven is stronger than decay. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is warfare, a weapon sharper than any blade, and the chosen ones know its power intimately. Unforgiveness is a heavy chain, invisible but crushing, stiffening the posture, hardening the face, and dimming the fire in the eyes. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Colossians 3:13. Those who cling to bitterness discover that it not only corrodes their emotions, but carves lines into their bodies, draining their vitality like poison seeping through roots. And what could be more tragic than carrying the face of resentment long after the wound has passed? Does it not shock the heart to realize that unforgiveness enslaves us far more than it punishes those who wronged us? The chosen grasp this truth as firmly as one grips a sword. They know forgiveness is both shield and weapon, capable of breaking cycles of destruction. Their youth is preserved because their souls are not dragged down by the weight of chains they refuse to wear. And while the world glorifies revenge as strength, the chosen know mercy is the true throne upon which beauty reigns. Forgiveness for them is not forgetting it, is rewriting the ending of a story once marked by pain. It is strength hidden in gentleness, power clothed in peace, eternity bending low to heal the fragile heart. The chosen ones refuse such chains. They know that keeping anger alive is like drinking venom and expecting the enemy to collapse. Forgiveness, for them, is not permission for injustice, but liberation from captivity. And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins. Mark 11:25. They do not erase the memory, but they dismantle its power, choosing not to replay betrayal as a daily ritual. Isn't it remarkable that by freeing others in their hearts, they free themselves as well? Each act of forgiveness is like breaking a lock in a prison cell, and with every release, their soul breathes again. Their skin softens, their spirit lightens, and their very voice carries the vibration of grace. In that release, They discover something paradoxical. The one they freed most was themselves, and in that freedom, their features regain the softness of youth, as if grace itself became a balm on their skin. Forgiveness becomes a quiet revolution, an unseen victory that reshapes even the body that carries it. To forgive is to plant a seed of eternity into the soil of the present, and those seeds blossom into beauty long after the pain has died. Science observes what Scripture proclaims. Forgiveness reshapes the body. Anger floods the bloodstream with cortisol, hardening arteries and accelerating decay, while forgiveness lowers the storm and allows healing. A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot. Proverbs 14:30. Isn't it striking that resentment ages a person, while peace refreshes them as though spring returned? Stress levels drop, blood pressure stabilizes, even facial muscles relax, softening the hardened features etched by anger. People may call it biology, but the chosen know it is heaven's reward for mercy. Their faces begin to glow not because of cosmetics, but because their souls have been uncluttered. Their peace radiates outward like the warmth of the sun thawing frozen ground, and those who encounter them cannot always explain it, but they feel lighter simply standing in their presence. It is as if forgiveness releases invisible waves, rippling out into every corner of their lives, cleansing what bitterness once corroded. Where bitterness steals decades, forgiveness restores seasons, turning winters of the heart into springs of renewal. This is why the chosen carry both vitality and calm, as though time itself bends to the rhythm of their peace. History gives us examples of ruin when forgiveness is withheld. Cain, consumed by jealousy against Abel, chose anger over mercy, and the result was blood on the earth and a curse on his life. Genesis 4:8-12. Does his story not echo through centuries as a warning of what bitterness births? Meanwhile, Joseph, betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery, chose forgiveness instead. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50-20. His mercy preserved nations, and his face, once lined with sorrow, became radiant with divine favor. Which legacy speaks louder, the mark of Cain or the grace of Joseph? And which destiny would you rather wear upon your skin? Cain's scowl became a monument to wrath, but Joseph's smile became a sanctuary of renewal. This contrast lives on, reminding us that bitterness digs graves, but forgiveness builds gardens where generations may rest. And every act of forgiveness plants seeds that bloom long after the forgiver has gone. Joseph's story teaches that forgiveness does not erase betrayal, but transforms it into a platform for destiny. Forgiveness can turn pits into palaces, tears into testimonies, wounds into windows of God's glory. Voices outside the scriptures agree. Desmond Tutu, the South African archbishop who helped heal a nation scarred by apartheid, once declared, "Without forgiveness, there is no future." His words were not abstract philosophy. They were the architecture of survival for millions. Forgiveness preserved dignity where revenge could have birthed ruin. And isn't it astonishing how a single decision to forgive can alter not only one face but an entire generation's future? The chosen mirror this truth daily, proving that forgiveness is not weakness, it is the bedrock of renewal. Their choice becomes generational architecture, scaffolding for sons and daughters to stand upon. And by practicing forgiveness, they carry an ageless vitality, proving that mercy is stronger than time. In moments of pain, They choose release, proving that forgiveness is not just about the past, it is about protecting the future. Forgiveness is an inheritance, passed down like treasure, shaping families, communities, and nations. It becomes a bridge where walls once stood, a melody where silence once screamed. Art and music have long sung of this mystery. In Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, a sacred work of both sorrow and triumph, the Agnus Dei rises with the plea, Dona nobis pacem, grantus peace. Forgiveness is the human echo of that prayer. For when the chosen forgive, their faces echo heaven's song. Their bodies mirror eternity's rhythm, and their lives radiate a beauty deeper than skin. Their glow is not vanity but testimony, declaring that mercy is stronger than memory. Like frescoes in old cathedrals that retain brilliance even through centuries of weathering, their countenance remains fresh because it has been washed by grace, and those who witness it find themselves drawn, as if standing before sacred art that whispers of eternity. Forgiveness, then, is not only spiritual, it is artistic, sculpting faces into living masterpieces of peace. It is a hymn written not on parchment, but on the human heart, a chorus that turns bitterness into harmony. To forgive is to become a gallery of grace where heaven exhibits its finest work. Forgiveness does not erase scars, but it transforms them into holy architecture, arches of resilience, domes of grace, pillars of peace. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Matthew 5-7. Over time, their features tell a new story, not of pain and regret, but of triumph and release. They walk lighter, they speak freer, and their eyes shine with a sparkle untouched by time. Peace, it turns out, is the most effective beauty treatment ever given to humanity. Their faces preach without words, declaring, grace is greater than grief, and every wrinkle softened by forgiveness becomes a hymn to the God who redeems. Forgiveness becomes their crown, their youth-restoring secret, and their living testimony that time bows to grace. Scars become signatures of survival, monuments of mercy, evidence that what once hurt has been transformed into strength, and like stained glass windows that turn cracks into colors, their brokenness glows with a beauty only grace could create. Stand up, chosen one. Do not let bitterness age you. Do not let resentment chain you. Release it. Forgive. Let your spirit breathe again, and your countenance glow like dawn. Forgiveness is your armor, your fountain of youth, your crown of radiance. Step into it boldly, for heaven stands ready to pour renewal upon those who dare to let go. Rise, for your freedom is your beauty, and your mercy is your immortality. And let your face, softened by grace, testify that God's love is stronger than every wound inflicted upon you. For the years you thought you lost in sorrow will return as radiance when forgiveness flows. And when the world asks the secret of your glow, let your life answer, I chose mercy, and mercy kept me young. Overindulgence is a silent assassin, robbing years from the body and dimming the light of the spirit. Many age, not because of fate or genetics, but because of choices made daily: what they eat, what they drink, what they watch, and even what they allow to occupy their minds. The chosen refuse this trap. They know that excess is a counterfeit comfort that slowly poisons vitality. Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags. Proverbs 23:20-21. Isn't it chilling that Scripture already warned us of indulgence as a thief of life long before science confirmed it? And does it not stir your heart to wonder how many wrinkles, how much fatigue, how much heaviness is simply the fruit of habits never disciplined? Those who chase indulgence end up slaves to appetite, while the chosen break free and walk lightly into their years. Their refusal of excess becomes visible proof that true youth is guarded by restraint. Restraint, for them, is not a chain, but a compass. It points them toward vitality, while others drift toward decay. Each no they speak to excess is actually a yes to future strength. And in that yes, they find freedom that indulgence can never give. The chosen, instead, practice discipline, a sacred self-control rooted not in vanity, but in reverence. They understand that boundaries are not prisons but protections, and that self-control is a form of worship. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. Proverbs 25:28. To them, saying, "Enough," is not deprivation, it is strength. Isn't it powerful to realize that by learning to stop, they preserve the very radiance of their youth? They enjoy life's pleasures, but they know when joy turns into poison. Their discernment creates an invisible shield, keeping toxins from invading both their body and their mind. And as years pass, their restraint becomes visible, etched not in wrinkles but in resilience. Their faces remain fresh because their choices feed life, not decay. They prove daily that mastery of appetite is mastery of destiny. Self-control builds them like fortresses, standing tall against the storms of temptation. Their restraint is not grim austerity, it is joyful stewardship, a quiet celebration of freedom from chains. And each boundary they set becomes like a wall of light, keeping shadows from creeping in. When it comes to food, they are mindful. Fresh fruit, whole grains, and clean water become their companions, not out of obsession, but because they see food as holy fuel. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Isn't it remarkable how the cleaner the fuel, the stronger the temple? They do not chase every craving, they steward their bodies like living sanctuaries. And what about their minds? They guard their thoughts, avoiding the steady diet of gossip, fear-driven media, and toxic distractions. They know that feeding on shadows eventually makes a person wear the face of shadows. Their mental clarity becomes a lamp within, shaping the way they carry themselves with peace. Each choice, every bite, every thought is like laying bricks in a cathedral that will endure long after fleeting desires have burned away. In that cathedral, even silence sings, and even restraint becomes a hymn of strength. Their daily habits, invisible to the world, are stones of immortality being laid for decades to come. Their diet is not only what they eat, but what they watch, hear, and meditate upon. An entire menu of soul nutrition. Nature itself preaches this truth. The river that floods its banks destroys everything in its path, but the river that stays within its channel nourishes fields and sustains life. The tree that drinks endlessly without balance becomes waterlogged and rots from the inside, but the one that drinks in rhythm with the seasons grows strong and towering. The chosen are like that balanced river and disciplined tree, channeling what they receive into fruitful growth instead of chaos. Blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord, That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. Psalm 1:1-3. And have you noticed how their presence feels different? Steady as an oak and clear as running water. While others drift in exhaustion, their strength whispers to us that balance is not restriction, it is freedom in its purest form. And like orchards that ripen in perfect time, their lives become harvests that others may taste. Balance shapes them into living seasons, always bearing fruit without burning out. Like constellations that shine only because they stay in their appointed paths, their discipline preserves their brilliance. Their lives prove that boundaries are not barriers but channels for power. History also gives us villains who fell because they bowed to indulgence. King Solomon, though blessed with wisdom, surrendered to excess in his later years. Wine, women, and wealth diluted his devotion, and the kingdom fractured after him. 1 Kings 11. Is his downfall not a sobering reminder that indulgence blinds even the wise? In contrast, Daniel refused the king's rich food and wine, choosing discipline instead. And to these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and understanding. Daniel 1:17. Which story would you rather your life tell, the collapse of Solomon or the resilience of Daniel? The chosen align with Daniel, proving that restraint is not deprivation, it is the seed of strength. Solomon's banquet ended in ashes, but Daniel's restraint built wisdom that outlived empires. Excess crowned one with regret, while discipline crowned the other with glory. Their fates warn us that indulgence may glitter for a night, but it costs a lifetime. And is it not haunting to see how quickly abundance can turn to bondage if discipline is lost? History whispers again and again, indulgence may intoxicate the senses, but only restraint keeps the soul awake. The smallest habits reveal their power over time. Chosen ones ask themselves silently, will this help me or harm me in the years to come? That single question shapes their destiny. Their balance becomes a compass, guiding every step with wisdom over years. This lifestyle of measured discipline shows itself in clear eyes, firm posture, and movements marked by confidence rather than weariness. And does it not amaze you how confidence itself can erase years from a person's appearance? For youth is not merely flesh, it is the energy of clarity embodied. Their walk is steady, their choices intentional, their presence magnetic. While others stumble in cycles of regret, they stride forward as though eternity fuels their every step. This quiet confidence becomes their crown, a radiance that resists the erosion of time. And as momentum builds, their very aura announces that discipline has carved fountains of youth inside them. Each step they take is a sermon. Restraint today is strength tomorrow, and strength tomorrow is beauty everlasting. Stand up, chosen one. Do not hand your strength to indulgence. Do not surrender your youth to cravings that promise sweetness but deliver sorrow. Build discipline like walls around your city, and your glow will outlast the years. Balance is not your enemy, it is your crown. Live with restraint, and you will walk the earth with a radiance no excess can ever counterfeit. Rise now, for your discipline is your beauty, and your self-control is your immortality. Let your life testify that the narrow path is not barren but fruitful, and your restraint is not chains but wings. For the glory of your youth does not lie in indulgence, it lies in mastery. And that mastery is eternal. When others fade chasing appetites, you will shine, nourished by discipline that outlives every craving. Most people think renewal comes from gym sessions, skincare products, or diets, but these only polish the surface. The chosen ones know that true youth flows not from creams or weights, but from the soul itself. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. 2 Corinthians 4:16. Spiritual renewal is their hidden wellspring. Prayer, fasting, gratitude, and sacred stillness are not mere rituals to them, they are lifelines. Isn't it striking that while others spend fortunes chasing youth externally, the chosen cultivate it internally through daily encounters with God? Their glow is not a mask applied at night. It is the fire of heaven kindled within. And when that fire burns, even the lines of age soften, because the radiance comes from a source untouched by time. Renewal for them is not occasional, it is a constant flame, rekindled each morning like the rising of the sun. Their youth is not borrowed from cosmetics but born of communion, an endless current flowing directly from heaven. Every whispered prayer becomes a seed of immortality planted in the soil of their soul. And each day's gratitude becomes oil poured into the lamp of their spirit. Where the world sees fading flesh, heaven sees a spirit catching fire. When they enter prayer or stillness, something extraordinary happens. Their breathing slows, their pulse steadies, their nervous system recalibrates. Science calls this parasympathetic activation. Scripture calls it peace. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. These moments are not wasted. They are architectural blueprints of eternity etched into the body. Can you see it? Each pause is like an arch built into the cathedral of their spirit, designed to carry the weight of life without collapse. And as the resonance of prayer vibrates through their being, stress hormones recede, immunity strengthens, and their bodies literally repair. Their faces become living blueprints of the sanctuary within. Even their silence speaks, like sacred acoustics that echo long after the sound has ceased. Renewal creates harmony where chaos once reigned, and that harmony shines through their countenance like stained glass catching light. They carry within them an atmosphere so charged with serenity that even the anxious find themselves stilled in their company. Their stillness is not emptiness, but fullness, the hush before a symphony, the calm that makes the crescendo possible. This renewal transforms how they move through conflict and chaos. Instead of lashing out, they respond with wisdom, rooted in stillness. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Isn't it powerful that calm is their strategy? Not passivity, but divine strength. They save energy others waste in arguments, redirecting it toward vision, service, and joy. Have you not noticed how people grounded in prayer seem almost untouchable by petty drama? It is because their spirit vibrates at a higher frequency, like a violin tuned above the noise of broken instruments. Every encounter becomes a symphony of restraint and clarity. They are not moved by every storm, they move with the rhythm of eternity. Their restraint becomes their radiance, and their composure becomes a shield stronger than steel. Their calmness is not absence of fire, it is fire under control, like a forge that melts weapons of chaos into tools of peace. Their peace is not fragile, it is militant, a fortress built by unseen hands. When others crumble under pressure, they stand tall, proof that stillness can be the fiercest weapon in battle. Over years, this lifestyle of renewal accumulates like compounding interest. Their skin clears, their eyes brighten, their posture straightens, not because of cosmetics, but because inflammation and worry no longer rule their cells. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Isaiah 40-31. Isn't it breathtaking to realize that youth is not stolen by time, but surrendered by neglect of the soul? The chosen refuse that surrender. They refill their wells daily. And the living water of God flows outward, making them appear ageless. Their very presence becomes a fountain others wish to drink from, though few understand its source. And like springs in the desert, their lives testify that renewal is not seasonal but continuous. Every day they draw again from that endless well, and every day they shine a little brighter. It is as though their bodies become clocks set not by time but by eternity, ticking to heaven's rhythm instead of earth's decay. Each year that passes refines them instead of diminishing them, polishing their souls like stones in a riverbed. Their vitality becomes the visible fruit of an invisible covenant. Ordinary lives affirm this mystery. Clara, a widowed seamstress in her 70s, once confessed, "Every morning I whisper gratitude for the breath in my lungs, and somehow I feel younger than the mirror tells me." Her neighbors often remarked that her eyes sparkled brighter than women half her age. Her secret was not lotions or diets, it was her daily choice to refill her spirit with gratitude and prayer. Isn't it beautiful that even hidden lives reveal the same truth as prophets and kings? Renewal is no respecter of status, it is the secret code of all who walk closely with God. Clara's wrinkles, softened by joy, became maps of endurance and grace, and her laughter rang like bells in a chapel. Those around her felt peace when she entered the room. Proof that spiritual renewal carves beauty where time carves lines. Her life whispered what science struggles to measure. The chemistry of gratitude rewrites the story etched upon the skin, and though her name never reached headlines, she left behind a legacy more radiant than fame, an atmosphere that changed everyone she touched. Her daily choice to rejoice became her ageless crown. In the end, spiritual renewal is the greatest elixir of youth. It is the hidden physics of the soul, where frequency, resonance, and divine energy converge to heal what time tries to erode. While others scramble for external fixes, the chosen tap into a well that never runs dry. Stand up, chosen one. Build your inner cathedral daily. Fast, pray, sing, give thanks, and let the light of heaven restore your youth. For your spirit is the springtime of your body, and your renewal is the crown that no age can tarnish. Rise into the rhythm of eternity, for in every moment of renewal, heaven itself breathes through you, and as long as your spirit drinks from that fountain, you will carry eternity on your face and youth in your steps. For when heaven writes its glow upon you, no calendar can erase it. This is the timeless inheritance of the chosen, the secret that beauty is not preserved but reborn, again and again, in the presence of God. One of the most overlooked secrets to staying young has nothing to do with creams or elixirs. It lives in the mind. Chosen ones know the value of guarding curiosity like a treasure. They refuse to let the heaviness of adulthood smother their sense of wonder. Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 18:3. Isn't it remarkable that Jesus himself linked youthfulness of spirit with the posture of a child? And what could be more striking than meeting someone whose eyes still light up with discovery long after the world expects them to grow weary? The chosen understand this truth. Curiosity is not childish, it is eternal fuel. Their delight in questions keeps their inner landscape evergreen, and even in old age. Their souls bloom as though it were perpetual spring. Their wonder is not naivety, it is wisdom refusing to grow stale. This is why their laughter never sounds forced. It is drawn from wells of fascination that never run dry, like fresh dew on the grass. Their curiosity renews them each morning, proof that the spirit can stay forever young, even while the body matures. They keep asking questions, exploring new ideas, and learning new skills. Each pursuit sharpens their minds, paints new colors on the canvas of their imagination, and lifts their emotions with joy. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. Proverbs 25:2. Curiosity is their crown, their daily choice to dig deeper. And isn't it powerful to realize that every time they chase knowledge, they breathe in renewal? Their laughter is spontaneous, their humor natural, their playfulness contagious. Have you not noticed how laughter softens the harshest lines? How humor melts even the weight of grief? Playfulness for them is not escape, it is resistance against cynicism, a rebellion against the rigidity that makes others prematurely old. Their jokes carry healing. Their joy disarms sorrow. And their constant learning keeps their minds nimble, while others stagnate. This posture of discovery transforms even ordinary tasks into adventures, even mundane hours into sparks of creativity. Their humor is not cheap entertainment, it is holy oxygen that sustains their vitality. Science affirms what scripture and experience declare. People who maintain curiosity experience slower cognitive decline and greater resilience. Playfulness reduces cortisol and ignites creativity, giving them emotional buoyancy. A merry heart doeth good, like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. Proverbs 17:22. Isn't it astonishing that what modern psychology measures, the Bible already proclaimed thousands of years ago? Chosen ones embody this truth. They walk into rooms with lightness, and their presence feels like spring after a long winter. Their brains stay flexible because their hearts stay open, and that flexibility reflects in their radiant faces. Their smiles are not masks, they are rivers overflowing from fountains of joy. And just as flexible branches withstand storms, while brittle ones snap, their curiosity keeps them strong when life presses hardest. This lightness is not artificial, it is born of hearts that refuse to fossilize. Their biology bends toward resilience, proving that joy is not just an emotion, but a survival mechanism. Even neurologists admit, play and curiosity rewire the brain. But the chosen already live this truth by instinct, over time. This mindset carves youth into their very being. They smile more, their eyes sparkle with wonder, and their posture carries ease instead of tension. The joy of the Lord is your strength, Nehemiah 8:10. And have you noticed that joy itself is magnetic? People are drawn to the chosen because they radiate levity, not gloom. Even in challenges, they inject humor and creativity. Isn't it beautiful that while others buckle under life's weight, they rise with childlike resilience? Their hobbies, adventures, and small acts of kindness are not hobbies of leisure, they are anchors of renewal. Their playfulness does not ignore suffering, it shines brighter against it, proving that joy is a holy defiance. They carry storms differently, transforming even hardship into fuel for laughter. And this resilience is written on their bodies as clearly as their spirits, youth etched in posture, joy etched in eyes. Their aging is slowed not just by biology, but by atmosphere. the very climate of joy they live within daily. Voices from history echo this truth. Pablo Picasso, the artist who painted into his 90s, once said, "It takes a very long time to become young." His words remind us that chosen ones do not cling to the past, they continually rediscover the present. And isn't it ironic that the wisest often live the most playfully? In sacred art too, joy has been painted as a virtue. In the 15th century hymn Gaudeamus Igitur, "Let us rejoice," therefore, sung by students for centuries, the call resounds, "Rejoice while we are young." The chosen embody this hymn daily, proving that rejoicing is not for the young, it keeps you young. Their lives become living symphonies of joy, harmonies that no wrinkle can silence. And like music echoing through old stone chapels, their joy reverberates long after they leave the room. They teach us that becoming young again is not about reversing time, it is about recovering wonder. Even poets and philosophers agree that laughter is resistance, and in that resistance, the chosen preserve timeless vitality, youthfulness of mind. Then, is not naive, it is a holy strategy. It is the architecture of resilience, the frequency of delight, the physics of joy vibrating through bone and blood. Rejoice in the Lord, always. I will say it again, rejoice. Philippians 4:4. Stand up, chosen one. Refuse cynicism. Refuse heaviness. Laugh, play, discover, and rejoice. For these are not trivialities, they are sacred acts of renewal. Let curiosity be your shield. Let joy be your fountain. Let playfulness be your crown. For when your spirit is light, your face will shine, and your years will bow to the eternal youth God placed within you. Time itself cannot chain the heart that sings, for joy is a rebellion against decay. Rise into it, for heaven delights in those who choose to remain wondrous. And when others ask how you stayed so radiant, your life will answer, it was not creams, nor chance, but the holy defiance of joy rooted in God. They are surrounded by positive energy, and this is no accident. Chosen ones understand a truth most people ignore. The company you keep will either build you up or secretly dismantle you piece by piece. Energy is contagious, whether radiant or toxic, and it leaves measurable fingerprints on both body and mind. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Isn't it sobering to realize that the people closest to you are chiseling the architecture of your soul? For better or worse, the chosen know this and choose carefully. Because every relationship plants seeds of either renewal or decay. Even silence shared with the wrong company can weigh you down, while silence with the right company can feel like sunlight on the skin. They live with the awareness that companionship is not neutral, it is either fertilizer or poison. And with that awareness, they cultivate intentional circles, pruning away what steals their vitality while watering what strengthens their spirit. The very atmosphere they walk in is designed, not accidental, for they know alignment is a daily choice, not a random event. They do not cling to toxic bonds out of fear of loneliness. They refuse the company of those who drain, manipulate, hors poison, no matter how familiar. Instead, they gravitate toward those who uplift, challenge, and inspire in ways that nourish the spirit, as iron sharpens iron. So one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. Isn't it powerful that the right friendships act like sharpening stones, keeping your soul honed and bright. Their circles are not echo chambers, but gardens where truth and encouragement grow side by side. They understand that harmony is not built on agreement, but on shared pursuit of light. In Zuch Gardens, laughter and wisdom become daily bread. And when storms rage outside, these relationships are walls that shelter the heart. For them, friendship is not a luxury. It is sacred architecture, holding their spirit firm. Every voice in their circle is like a tool in the hands of a master builder, chiseling, polishing, and shaping them toward destiny. They do not settle for acquaintanceship. They consecrate their friendships as living altars of support and transformation. Science confirms what chosen ones live by instinct. Positive social bonds strengthen immune systems, reduce inflammation, and extend life expectancy. Joyful company triggers oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, lowering stress while repairing the body at a cellular level. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Proverbs 17:17. Have you not noticed how being around someone joyful can lighten your own mood in minutes? Isn't it astonishing that hormones in the body respond not just to food and medicine, but to the energy of the people around you? The chosen live in this flow, breathing in encouragement like oxygen, exhaling hope back into the air. They do not just take, they contribute, creating a cycle of renewal that preserves them and everyone near. The science of community and the theology of love converge in their lives, making their friendships both medicine and miracle. In truth, every conversation is a prescription, every embrace a healing balm, every shared prayer a renewal at the molecular level. This is why their youth does not fade easily. It is guarded by the chemistry of joy and the sacred economy of mutual blessing. Nature itself preaches this law of influence. The eagle soars strongest not when flying alone, but when lifted by the invisible currents of the wind. The vine that wraps around a sturdy tree grows taller and bears richer fruit than one struggling in isolation. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. Ecclesiastes 4:9. Isn't it beautiful to see how creation itself models the strength of connection? The chosen mirror this natural law, surrounding themselves with currents that lift and anchors that hold. Their companions are not cages but wings, and together they create ecosystems of resilience, like coral reefs that sustain entire oceans. Their relationships nurture life far beyond their immediate circle. Each bond becomes a root system underground, invisible yet carrying the weight of a forest above. Their communities echo the very architecture of creation, rivers feeding oceans, stars clustered in constellations, trees bound by unseen mycelium. They know the same God who designed ecosystems, designed relationships as divine structures where strength multiplies and survival turns into flourishing. History warns of the opposite. Ahab, king of Israel, yoked himself to Jezebel's destructive energy, and their union poisoned a nation with idolatry and bloodshed. 1 Kings 21. Do you see how even a throne was corroded by the wrong alliance? The chosen learn from such tragedy, understanding that proximity to darkness eventually imprints itself onto the face and the spirit. Which circle would you rather belong to, the one that drains until you look decades older, or the one that uplifts until you glow with timeless joy? Negative alliances are like termites eating a palace from within. By the time you see the damage, the foundation is already weak. But positive alliances build fortresses, enduring storms without collapse. Destiny itself bends to the influence of who walks beside you. The Bible shows again and again, from Samson entangled with Delilah to Judas selling Christ for silver, that bad company accelerates ruin. Yet it also shows the opposite. Ruth clinging to Naomi brought forth the lineage of David and ultimately Christ himself. Such is the weight of companionship, it writes. Legacies for generations yet unborn. Over years, these choices sculpt more than emotional health. They reshape physical presence. Wrinkles are softened by genuine laughter. Eyes sharpen with hope. And posture remains open rather than hunched under bitterness. Perfume and incense bring joy to the heart. And the pleasantness of a friend springs from their heartfelt advice. Proverbs 27:9. Isn't it striking how the right company can literally beautify the body? The chosen carry this truth in every step, every smile, every interaction. Their very youth is preserved by the radiance of their circle. They become walking sanctuaries of warmth, reflections of the light they chose to walk with. Over time, their faces tell not the story of age, but of atmosphere, the story of gardens they chose to plant and the energy they chose to breathe. Their youth is not a mystery, it is the harvest of their companions. Each laugh shared with a true friend erases a line of sorrow. Each prayer whispered in unity strengthens their inner frame. Even science calls it resilience, but heaven calls it blessing. Their countenance becomes evidence of divine mathematics. Joy plus love equals longevity. Stand up, chosen one. Do not let toxic energy age your spirit or carve sorrow into your face. Surround yourself with those who bring life, not death. Joy, not bitterness. Build circles of encouragement that keep your fire burning. For your companions will shape not only your destiny, but also your reflection in the mirror. Choose wisely, and you will carry youth not just in your body, but in your very presence. Rise, for the light you carry deserves a circle that multiplies it. Let your life prove that the right relationships are fountains of renewal flowing through every season of your soul. The company you choose is not just about who you walk with, it is about who you become. For in the end, eternity itself will echo the voices you allowed into your inner circle. And when the world beholds you radiant at 40, 50, or beyond, may they see proof that God's chosen age, not by years, but by the atmosphere of heaven, they keep close. Perhaps the most mysterious reason chosen ones retain their youth is that they walk under a divine protection science cannot fully explain. They move within a covering invisible to the naked eye but undeniable in its effects. A preservation that shields body, mind, and spirit. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91:4. Isn't it astonishing that while others seem crushed by life's storms, the chosen rise as though carried by an unseen current? Their youth is not merely biology, it is evidence of a covenant. Like an ancient cathedral, designed with arches that redirect crushing weight into beauty, their lives are engineered by heaven's architecture to endure what would collapse others. Even when the world calculates decline as inevitable, their lives stand as equations rewritten by divine mathematics. Their very existence becomes a paradox, fragile flesh wrapped in unbreakable preservation. And what is more mysterious than a life that refuses to break where logic demands it should? This covering does not mean the chosen life without trials. On the contrary, many have endured storms that should have left permanent scars. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Isaiah 43:2. Isn't it mysterious that they emerge from battles not weaker but more radiant? as though fire polished them instead of burned them. Their resilience is not ordinary grit, it is divine resonance, a frequency that repels despair and restores balance after chaos, like an instrument struck in the middle of noise but returning quickly to perfect pitch. They recover with a speed the world cannot measure. Their glow is not denial of suffering, it is proof of preservation. Every scar becomes not a blemish, but an inscription of grace, testifying that survival under divine covering produces beauty beyond explanation. And does it not challenge us all to wonder what unseen shield has carried them through what should have ended them? People often stare in wonder. How can someone who has faced such pain still radiate peace? Though he slayed me, yet will I hope in him. Job 13:15. Isn't it powerful to realize that even shattered seasons cannot steal the sparkle from their eyes? While grief lines the faces of many, chosen ones often appear lighter, as if sorrow itself was transformed into a strange kind of beauty. Their resilience shocks even their enemies, for no amount of pressure seems able to extinguish their flame. It is as though God himself bends time around them, restoring what hardship tries to erode. Their survival is not passive, it is radiant testimony that divine favor writes a different script, and in that script, tragedy becomes rehearsal for triumph, and pain becomes pigment painting the masterpiece of their lives. Their glow is the paradox of ashes turned into crowns, suffering transfigured into radiance that no cosmetic surgeon could ever replicate. On a physical level, this protection often manifests in ways science struggles to categorize: faster healing, resistance to certain illnesses, vitality that outpaces peers. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. Isn't it remarkable that bodies of the chosen seem to defy expected decline? On an emotional level, it shows unshakable hope, even in dark valleys. On a spiritual level, their light remains untouchable, no matter how fierce the opposition, like a compass that resets itself to true north despite interference. Their spirits recalibrate toward peace. Their very presence testifies to the supernatural physics of protection, where unseen frequencies strengthen visible flesh. And this protection is not static, it is dynamic, constantly renewing, like waves washing a shoreline smooth, no matter how rough the tide. Over time, the evidence becomes undeniable. Their years may increase, but their vitality refuses to fade. Even science admits anomalies, people whose healing surpasses explanation, yet the chosen know it is simply the fingerprint of God. Ordinary lives echo this mystery. Marta, a retired nurse in her 60s, often heard people say, "You don't look a day over 40. Her secret, she whispered daily, "God, keep me in your shadow." She buried 2 siblings, survived illness, yet radiated joy wherever she went. Her neighbors said her laughter was medicine, her hugs like warmth against winter. Isn't it humbling that such divine preservation is not reserved for the famous, but for anyone who walks in trust? Marta's story proves that grace is not distant. It hums like a quiet frequency, surrounding those who choose faith over fear. She became a living sanctuary for her community, proof that heaven's shield is as present in kitchens and gardens as it is in temples and palaces. Her face bore not the weight of sorrow, but the shine of serenity, evidence that divine covering beautifies ordinary life. And her story whispers a greater truth: when heaven covers you, even your wrinkles preach of joy. Ultimately, this covering sustains more than health. It sustains joy. And joy is the strongest anti-aging force known to man. The joy of the Lord is your strength, Nehemiah 8:10. Isn't it breathtaking to realize that youthfulness is not skin deep, but spirit deep? Chosen ones age like fine wine, not because of what they avoid, but because of who guards them. Their radiance is a visible sign of an unseen hand that has preserved them all along. Stand up, chosen one. Do not doubt the shield that surrounds you. Walk in the confidence that heaven has wrapped you in protection, and let your very face declare, I am preserved. I am radiant. I am chosen. For in the end, youth is not stolen by time, but sustained by eternity. Rise, and let your glow silence the lies of decay. Let your very being announce to the world, divine protection is real, and I am living proof. Chosen ones, now the veil is lifted. The reason you shine younger after 40 is not vanity, nor the fleeting work of cosmetics. It is the eternal mark of God's hand upon your life. Each of the 9 truths we walk through are not mere habits, they are spiritual laws written in your very being. Peace has erased stress from your face. Purpose has fueled your bones with strength. Forgiveness has softened your features. Spiritual renewal has kept your soul evergreen. Playfulness has carved joy into your eyes. Positive energy has wrapped you in warmth. And divine protection has shielded you in ways the world cannot explain. This youthfulness is not temporary, it is a visible prophecy, a living testimony that God is not finished with you yet. Those who look to Him are radiant, their faces are never covered with shame. Psalm 34:5. Isn't it wondrous that your very countenance carries evidence of heaven's presence? Time cannot steal what eternity sustains. The glow you carry is not borrowed, it is eternal. And when the world asks, how do they look so young? The answer resounds, because they are chosen. And their spirit is aligned with the one who never ages. Now the invitation is laid before you. Will you embrace the calling to walk in this light? To guard your joy? To release bitterness? To surround yourself with voices of life? And to daily drink from the fountain of renewal? You were never meant to collapse under the weight of years. You were meant to stand as living proof that heaven rewrites the laws of decay. Chosen one, rise. Your face is not just skin. It is a sanctuary where the eternal shines through. If this revelation spoke to you, declare it. Click like to affirm it. Share this word with others so they too may be strengthened. And comment 777 below as a seal of your agreement with heaven. Subscribe and stay connected. For each message builds a house of truth, where you and countless others will find strength. To those who have blessed this channel through Super, thanks. We honor you. We see you. And we thank God for you. And to every viewer, whether you give or simply listen, your presence is a gift. Your time is holy. And your journey is part of this great story. May you walk into the days ahead radiant with joy, crowned with resilience, and preserved by divine favor. May your heart never grow weary, your mind never grow dim, and your spirit never bow to despair. You are chosen. You are radiant. You are eternal, and the best chapters of your life are still unfolding under heaven's pen. Rise now, for you were not made to fade, you were made to shine.